conducting a massive investigation into child care and other widespread fraud as DHS and the FBI ramp up a statewide crackdown. Federal prosecutors say that the total fraud in Minnesota could ultimately be more than $9 billion. ICE Director Todd Lyons joins us now. Mr. Director, thanks so much for joining the program. I want to bring your attention to this. This is a stat that we got from the Attorney General. 98 individuals were charged. 85 of those charged are of Somali descent. And we know that some of this money was going to terrorism and, of course, criminal activity. What can you tell us about what you're learning on the ground there?
Hey, Lawrence, good seeing you. Yeah, so ICE has been on the ground in Minnesota for a while now looking at these fraud claims. And one thing now the Homeland Security Investigation Special Agents are looking into is just as you said, that money trail, where this money is going to foreign aid. Obviously looking at any type of links to any criminal activity, obviously terrorism activity, and one thing you will see is that ICE is actually out there going with criminal warrants to conduct these investigations. So all too often you hear that ICE is just out there terrorizing the community or conducting administrative work. We've been on the ground in Minnesota conducting criminal investigations, and Homeland Security investigations has gone door to door to a lot of these suspected fraud sites all over St. Paul and Minnesota, and we're learning a lot.
Mr. Director, this is what the governor is saying in response to this in a statement. The governor has worked for years to crack down on fraud and asked the state legislature for more authority to take aggressive action. He has strengthened oversight, Governor Tim Walz spokesperson. But they hadn't been aggressive, and it wasn't until your leadership, as well as the president's leadership, that you guys start serving these criminal warrants. So who dropped the ball here?
Lawrence, what we're seeing is there's always a tie when it comes to sanctuary jurisdictions where you can hide in plain sight. You see a lot of these fraudsters use a lot of the sanctuary rules and sanctuary protections to, enact criminal fraud just like this. Secretary Noem has had us up in Minnesota. We had Operation Twin Shields with the FBI, CIS, and Homeland Security investigations. We were in September and November. We've been on the ground for so long looking into these states that are conducting these type of material fraud. And when Homeland Security investigations goes into these businesses, there is criminal activity when it comes to labor trafficking, child trafficking, human exploitation. And that's what we're looking at up there in Minnesota. And you always come back to these sanctuary jurisdictions where you'll find them, like, again, hiding in plain sight and using those sanctuary protections to employ, not only illegal aliens, but conduct criminal fraud just like you're seeing right now.
It's unbelievable. I want to get your reaction to this, Mr. Director. This is the mayor of Los Angeles, and this is what she had to say about Latino border agents. Let's listen.
Well, in a way, I think it's sad. I think that those Border Patrol agents are going to have a difficult time when they're out in the field and they see what actually happens in real life, separate from their training. But I do understand that their primary incentive is financial.
What's your response to that, Mr. Director?
Those are just sad comments. The men and women of ICE are all from all nationalities. We have so many that are first-generation Americans that just want to serve their country, and they want to be federal law enforcement officers. And it's really bad to politicize law enforcement in any aspect, but to take cheap shots at the men and women who put their lives on the line every day to go out there and serve the nation, to make their community safe. And it's just not a time and place for any type of elected officials to use, the fact of a racial profiling in reverse, targeting the men and women of law enforcement.
Yeah, it's pretty insane, especially when you consider that the Border Patrol is 50% Hispanic. And of course, there's a lot of minorities that are policing federal agents and ICE as well. And you're leading with them, Todd. Mr. Director, thanks so much for joining the program.
Great seeing you, Lawrence. Happy New Year.
No phone line, no residence. And yet, the call was real. 1. The house on Blackwood Lane. Blackwood Lane sits just outside Raven Creek, Oregon, one of those quiet American towns where people wave at strangers and lock their doors out of habit.